So I was watching the new Adam Sandler movie, and it got me thinking, what is the most overrated chord of all time? And there's only one correct answer for this. I'm going to let the cat out of the bag. I'm not going to clickbait you. You're going to know it right now. It's G7. And specifically this voicing of a G7. So today we're talking about why this G7 chord voicing is... Oh, I can't stand it. Even just hearing it, I can't stand it. What's wrong with this chord? How a chord can even be overrated, and how to fix it to use some underrated chords. Because we are I'm a man of the people. I root for the underdog here, okay? So, let's talk about this right now. We've got 3 on the E string, 2 on the A string, open D, open G, open B, and 1 on the high E string. G7, short for G dominant 7, okay? Now, there's a couple reasons that I really hate this chord. The number one reason is the way that it uses what's special about it, okay? So, a 7th chord is basically a major chord with a minor 7th, all right? So, the way we build chords is through thirds. So, if we take the G major scale, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, and G. A major chord would be a 1, a 3, and a 5. G, B, D. We can make a beautiful chord like this, a beautiful chord like this, a beautiful chord like this, a beautiful chord like this. So many ways to combine G, B, and D to sound good. Now, to make a dominant 7 chord, what we do is we take the 7th note and we flatten it. Okay, we go back 1. So we turn that F sharp into an F, which is this part of the most hated, overrated chord in history. All right, so now what's happening here is we're creating a little bit of tension. And 7th chords in general are so good to understand because it helps you create tension in your songwriting, in your playing, and everything. And that tension always gets resolved by going home. Okay, so from G7, almost always the next chord you're going to see is going to be C major. Okay, this is a 5 to a 1 chord progression in the key of C, C, D, E, F, G. Start with C, C, D, E, F, G. G is the 5th, okay? A lot of harmonic movements end up going 5-1 because that 5 chord gets you that nasty sound right there. You can't just let it hang. You can't let it hang. You can't leave your Happy Gilmore golf fans hanging for decades upon decades without letting us know what happens to Chubbs until you go home to 1, right? Who would do that? It's terrible. It's terrible stuff. Actually, I kind of high-key really like the new Happy Gilmore movie. It's pretty funny. Even though it's stupid, the cameos, elite cameos. Shout out Boban. Now, what's terrible about this chord voicing here is what takes the special thing about it, that flat 7, okay? Now, if we were just to play those notes in order, G, B, D, there's a lot of space in between, right? Bum, 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 even if we had the octave. That doesn't sound bad. There's 2 notes in particular that rub against each other the wrong way, and that would be the B and the F. Okay, the distance between these is what's called a tritone, right? Between B, F, if we go a whole step, a second whole step, and a third whole step, that's 3 whole steps, 3 tones, a tritone. The devil's tone. So bad, right? Now, intrinsically on its own, there's nothing so evil or bad about that. But when you choose to put the tritone, again, like an open B string and an F on the high E string, on top of the chord, it's the worst, especially if one of those notes is an open string and the other note is a fretted string. It's so bad. I can't like, even when it does get resolved, the damage has already been done. So it's too late. Now, we're going to talk about a way to fix this, and then we're going to talk about some cool ways that we can actually use the knowledge of understanding how a G7 works, and then maybe move it in a more educational way. But first I want to talk about the sponsor of today's video. This is the Enya Nova Go Sonic guitar. How awesome is this guitar? It's got the little faded right here. You can actually unplug it. There's a built-in speaker. You don't even need to be plugged into an amp. I'm plugged into an amp right now. You can hit this button right here and it'll like change the actual sound of what you're doing. Like right now, I don't even have it on. I can just turn it on. I'll hold the button, turn it on, right? And then now every time I press the button, it's got delay. Now it's cleaner. Again, this is like a really cool thing. And you can also adjust this and sync this with your phone to really unlock a lot of cool features. I will link you to an unboxing I did for this guitar because they have this on sale right now and it is super, super affordable. So cool just to have this lying around the house and pick up without having to use an amp. But also, as you can hear, it sounds good in an amp as well, too, okay? So thank you to Enya for sponsoring the video. Check out the guitar with the affiliate link in the description. Now, let's talk about that G7. And one way that I prefer to play it is actually like this. Okay? Same chord. We still have the root note, the major third. There's that tritone, but I'm burying the tritone in the inner part of this chord. I also have the third on top with my pinky on the 4th fret of the G string. So it's 3, 2, 3, 4. And again, I think it sounds good. You can kind of just jam and vamp. And just move this around and use it as a perfectly acceptable movable shape because it doesn't assault you with that open string rubbing up against the tritone, but we're still getting everything that's great about the dominant 7 chord in one chord voicing, okay? Now the other way that I'll use what we've learned about this, and the cool thing about G7 in particular, is on a guitar it's super easy to play. You don't even need the lower 2 strings. You could actually just play the bottom 4 strings open, 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 which again, this is just a G major chord right here, and then add that 1st fret. Okay, the nice thing about it is that it's so easy to make that chord. You just have to hold 1 fret down. Now this becomes a movable shape. So let's say I want to make it past the octave, like a higher G7 right here. I think it's really cool because it's just 12, 12, 12, 1. Now, even though we have that tritone on top, which to me isn't my go-to sound, the fact that now all the notes are fretted, I think makes a huge difference in how you use that chord to get back to the 1 chord, right? And again, now that you see it as a movable shape, it's so much easier to maybe do it on another chord. Like let's go to the key of D. What's the 5 in the key of D? D, E, F sharp, G, A. So if we put that on an A and then get back to D, I think it'll sound really cool, right? So let's go D major, maybe D major 7. All right, so there's my D major 7, 5, 7, 6, 7 in the middle of 4 strings. I'm gonna go to A7, which is 5, 4, 5, 6. Very pleasant, that tritone's in there. It's not assaulting the senses. It's not undermining everything I like about the beautiful sound of an electric guitar. And that's just gonna leave me right back home to D. How beautiful is that? We could also take this and go 2 frets higher. And because again, I'm not having an open string really mess with that. I still don't, I'm trying my best to make this a usable shape for everybody. That tritone on top, not my favorite, but way more usable in a fretted position. The cool thing about this too is you can alternate between the triad, right? So again, here's my root note actually. The 5th fret on the high string is an A. So this is A major. A major 7. A7. F sharp minor 7 or something like that. I like this chord in the context of movement. I don't love it in the context of, here it is, here's my 7 chord, but very useful to get back home to 1. See? 5 chord to 1. Or G7. Again, I think it's cool just to be able to go past the octave bar because down here everything sounds more impressive because, I mean, look how far you've made down here. How cool is the gradient on this? Guys, also I've been doing this thing now where I try to match my shirt to the guitar. So I'm gonna need more shirts, which is the weird thing about that. But yeah, anyways, that's why I think G7 in the open position is the most overrated guitar chord ever. Close second, F major bar chord like this. I've talked about this ad nauseum. I get so much hate on the internet because I don't teach this shape, because I think it's stupid when F major 7 is right here just as good. But that is an argument for a different video. Let me know in the comments what you think the most overrated guitar chord is, what you thought the best cameo in Happy Gilmore 2 was. Again, it doesn't get better than Bobon. That was awesome. But yeah, thank you again to Enya for sponsoring the video. If you have any questions or comments, let me know, and I'll talk to you all soon.